All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another edition of MJR and Friends. Today we have very special guests. Every guest is very special, so she's super special. Today we have Emily Murray, owner of Murray Home Decor. Emily, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I almost called you Murray.
That's okay.
Emily Murray is the owner of Murray Home Decor, and a little bit of background. She was born and raised in Rhode Island, and that's all I'm going to tell you because she's going to tell you the rest. But before we go into it, down below you can check out her info, Instagram at Murray Home Decor and Something Borrowed Event Decor, and then her website www.murrayhomedecor.com. And we're going to quickly pop up her little her picture right over here. Emily, tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, jumping right in. So I live in North Smithfield, Rhode Island with my husband and our 2 kids and 2 dogs. I was born in North Smithfield, grew up in North Smithfield, left for college for a year and came right back. So I'm born and raised Rhode Islander, and I think I'll probably die here like most of us will. So I went to Rhode Island College, graduated in 2015 for communication and psychology. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, but I ended up working a corporate job for about 5 years, and then this whole thing kind of happened. So it's a bigger story there, but yeah, that's a little bit about me.
We got to shout out North Smithfield. I don't know. I love that area up there.
Yeah.
Like North Smithfield, Barraville. Very confusing. Isn't there like 30 parts of North Smithfield?
There's a few. Yeah,
Something.
my husband's from Whitensville or Northbridge, same thing, Massachusetts, and they have a few different parts there too. So he's still learning all the different parts here, and I'm learning all the parts there. But
yeah, my best friend lives up in Barraville, and he's like, yeah, one side is like half hour away from the other side.
Yes, Barraville's far. If you feel like you're driving to Cranston when you're going to Barraville from North Smithfield.
It's nuts. It's not, but so nice up there. So
yeah,
nice.
Everything's beautiful.
So nice and quiet up there. But let's get into it. So Emily, tell us more about the story behind starting Murray Home Decor.
Yeah. So I grew up with 2 parents that had very different career paths. My dad started working at a corporate job right out of college. He climbed the ladder from the bottom up for over 30 years. And my mom still today works at a flower shop that was started by my great-grandmother over 70 years ago. So today it's run by my mom, my grandmother, and a few other women in our family. And I grew up going there every day after school in the summer. I got tired of it. I didn't think I wanted to go that route for my career someday, and I didn't want to do anything myself. I thought the grass was greener on the other side in the corporate world, and even though I was definitely more creative like my mom and my grandmother was, I ignored every spark of that. And out of college, I started working at the same company that my dad was at. I wasn't super passionate about what I was doing, but I had the mindset at the time that it was the only way to really provide for my family, was to go into the corporate world and climb that ladder like he did. And for a few years there, I was fine. It was nice to like have lunch with him occasionally and see him around campus. And it wasn't until a few years of working there that he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I spent the next few months that he was sick doing more of updating family and friends and his coworkers than my actual job. So going to work every day just felt like I was doing more of updating them on his prognosis, his treatment, and it was difficult, but it only got more difficult when he passed 9 months from when he was diagnosed. And thankfully, I had my son around the same time, so I had some time off work when he passed away, but going back there after that was the hardest thing I've ever done. I couldn't even drive to work in the morning without crying, and couldn't use the restroom without running into someone he's known for 20 years that's asking about our family. And it was nice to have the support, but it was overwhelming. And it was when he was gone that I realized without him there with me, I didn't have any passion for what I was doing. And it wasn't mine. I felt like I was just a part of his legacy and not able to stand there on my own. So around the same time, I started following another entrepreneur from Rhode Island named Danielle Holleran. She lives in Cranston, and she owns Details and Swirls. And she does...
I heard about them, yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. She does custom home and event decor for weddings and everything. Everything's hand lettered. It's beautiful. So I started following her on Instagram, and it was so cool to see someone that was newly married, my age, doing something that she loved, that she was passionate about. She was so creative with everything she did. So I started following her journey and getting more and more jealous that she was living this life of doing what she really wanted. But I didn't have anything that was like that for me. I didn't have the floral hands like my family does, but I didn't have anything else that really stuck out to me of what I would want to do or what I could do to support my family. Like I've been married 5 years. We have a 4-year-old girl and a 1.5-year-old boy. So I had to keep that in mind too for everything that I had responsibilities for. So it wasn't until about a year after my dad passed, and I was following Danielle, and she announced that she was taking her business full time. She was leaving her corporate job to do this every day, all day. And I sat in my bed and cried because I wanted something like that I felt was mine, that it was something that I was passionate about, that I wanted to do and that I enjoyed doing. And I didn't feel like I was living in anyone else's footsteps. A week later, I randomly bought a piece of wood to make a sign for my house. I already had a Cricut machine, which cuts vinyl, if you don't know, from doing crafts for my kids. And we had just moved to this house and we were mid-renovation, so it was not looking anything like a home. And I wanted to make something for our front door. So I've been seeing pictures on Pinterest of some wood signs people had made, and I decided to make my own. And I bought extra wood in case I messed up, because I expected to. Your first time doing something, you never really hit the nail on the head.
No.
But I was actually really proud of what I made at the first try. So I posted it on Facebook just for family and friends to show them what I made and said, I have some extra pieces. If anybody wants one, just let me know. And that night I sold out.
What?
And so I bought a few more the next week, and it just kind of kept going from there. And within a few weeks later, I decided to call it Murray Home Decor after our family.
Wow.
And I created a Facebook page so that I could post pictures of the work I've been making and try to see if I could get some traction there. And it just blew up. Wow. I started doing it. I spent more hours making pieces for people's homes than I did doing anything else in my life, whether it was work. And thankfully we were from home at the time, so I was able to add the extra hours in, and it took off from there. And now that was last May. So it's almost been a year. We're 10 months in now, and it's everything I ever wanted.
Well, first of all, shout out to Danielle.
Yes.
Shout out to Danielle.
Amazing.
It's awesome when you get to obviously there's always healthy competition, but
yeah,
it's nice to actually learn from like someone and see what someone else and be motivated from someone else and what they're doing.
She actually has a mentorship program too. I ended up taking some courses from her. I took a legal accounting class from her this fall, and then most recently her wedding rental program too. So she has been like a pillar in the community of a source for us to go to for any other young small business owners, whether you're doing something like this in the home decor space or something totally different. It's just nice to have someone you can ask questions to.
Absolutely. And obviously the second point I made from this was in terms of COVID, because you were working from home last year, you're one of the people, and a lot of people either had a very bad time during COVID and also a very prosperous time during COVID. And you were able, COVID was kind of not a blessing, but like some sort of an ability for you to have the extra time to do those things.
I don't think without COVID it could have happened.
No. So it was it's definitely a good thing in that regard.
I'll take the one good thing from it. That's what I'll take. And
yes.
Hopefully it just goes away soon.
Yes. What was it like the first day where you stepped away and you were like, I get to control everything right now?
That was the coolest part. So I think the first thing,
like, what did you do when you first woke up that morning? Like the first day you're free, you're in charge.
During full time.
Yeah.
So one of my most popular signs are these round wood signs for people's front doors. And with the holidays, I went full time in December. Everything was out of stock. You could not find these wood rounds anywhere. And so on my first day of being full time, I drove 2 hours away to get some more so that I could keep fulfilling orders for Christmas, because I don't want to tell people no. And that's one of my biggest downfalls with this is somebody can come to me and say, hey, I need something for tonight. And I find a way to make it. So My first day, I drove 2 hours there and back to get some more wood so that I could keep going. Because
Wow.
at that point, the fire is lit onto you. You just want to keep growing and growing.
Of course. Of course. No, that's amazing. Did you have any good songs on that playlist while you
I'm
were
all about
driving?
Taylor Swift, so
Taylor Swift.
that's
Okay.
all I listen to.
I
Well,
respect
not
that.
all, most of the time.
Yeah. Obviously, you can see I do not have any Taylor Swift on my wall.
That's okay.
I like her. I like her. I got to add her on to there. The next thing that's very interesting is you taught yourself almost everything.
Yes.
You taught yourself how to do your website, which
Mhm.
obviously we talked about that off the air.
Yep.
I am having a hard time with that. You taught yourself about social media. Tell us how did you do that?
I think once you have a passion for something, you just, at least in my experience, I want to learn everything I can about it. So from the second I started getting orders, I was looking into like, okay, how can I make this the best that it can be so that these pieces last forever? And so I know how to grow this. And it's a lot of messing up along the way because you can't get everything right the first shot. And even with, for example, Instagram, I started my platform really on Facebook from the get-go, and I had a pretty decent following there as I started growing clients and making more pieces. But Instagram was really slow and steady for me. It's not something that came naturally at all, especially with stories. I'm much better now. But I remember thinking like, how people aren't going to actually want to follow me on here. How do I use a hashtag? How many should I use? The algorithm that goes along with it. So I decided at that point to start focusing on it. So I think I started with giving a giveaway on Instagram to try to get some more traction on my page, and also just doing research. Even if you go on Pinterest or Google and look up social media strategies, there's so many different outsources and information out there that you can go to and learn about it from the beginning to end. So I just completely dove into it, whether it was looking online, podcasts, even TikTok. There's a lot of hashtags you can follow on TikTok for new business owners, and they kind of show you from the ground up little tips and tricks, and before you know it, you have a library of information that is useful to you in your business.
What would you say for a new business owner that, same footsteps as you, left something that was, you're going from leaving a steady, every week you're getting this check, this amount of money, to going to a business where in your head you're like, we're going to do this, but right now maybe it's not flowing in as much as it was with the other job. So what's one piece of advice you'd give a new business owner? One piece of advice to say, listen, do it now. Don't wait anymore. Do it now. Take the step back for a couple months, and then you're going to take 20 steps forward after you do that.
That was the big thing that my husband Derek and I sat down and talked about when I decided to take it full time. Is I could go look for another job, or I could just decide to do this. And so we decided then to make the sacrifices that we needed to. It's easier not to go out as much when they're in the middle of a pandemic, but a conscious choice not to get takeout or delivery, which we struggle with every day. Just making that lifestyle choice. I knew what I wanted in that moment. When I saw Danielle announce that she was going full time, I knew in my gut that I couldn't continue my life like this. I knew that I couldn't continue to go back to work and face the legacy that he had left behind. And I knew more than anything that I wanted something for myself. So that fire under me was enough to make that leap. So you just have to have faith in yourself that there's no one else that's like you. Even if they have a similar product or a similar strategy, you are your own person, and you have what it takes. You just have to make it happen if you're willing to.
And what percentage would you put on how much your life is better because of this stuff?
I don't even have one. It's over 100%. It's
nice.
Sunday. Yeah, I don't have that Sunday night scary feeling anymore.
Right.
I get to be home more with my kids, which is amazing. I get to, rather than getting up at 6 a.m. and trying to get out the door, or even get my daughter to preschool before I have to log in for remote work, we get to go about our day the way that we need to. And if I have to take some time out to get some orders done or work on something, I can, but it's a choice we make as a family. And I'm also working with my husband a lot more. He does all of the cutting and sanding and everything from all of my wood pieces. He's building stuff every weekend. He works full time on this, like apart from this. So we get to spend more time on the weekends doing stuff together and learning together about all these different things. So it's been a blessing in that sense too.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Let me ask you this: what is do you like ship out your or meet people both? Do a little everything?
A little of both. I definitely prefer when I can have local people pick up. It's just the easiest with a family. We are actually in the middle of setting up a pickup area off of our sunroom. So I have right now a little table set up with some hand sanitizer and a little thank you note. And that's where I'll put people's orders to come by and pick up at a time that's convenient for them. And I also ship across the US as well. I'm in the process
Wow.
of making a map together where I can color in each state that I sell an order to as I go. So I think I've probably got about 10 states so far, but my biggest business is definitely Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
What's the furthest state?
I've done California.
Wow.
Yeah.
And these are like not people you know. Like these are people that
No.
found you. That's
I
amazing.
would say a good part of my business has been from people referring me to their friends and their family, but a lot of it is just growing through TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and I try to do monthly giveaways every month where I'll give away a product, and one of the rules to enter is just to share my page with your family and friends, and so I found it double through the people that they know, and it's cool to find someone. I had someone message me wanting to place an order from Pennsylvania, and she said, I saw you on my friend's Facebook. She had a picture of a sign you made her, and I don't even know how that person found me, never mind you. So it's crazy how the age that we're in just markets for you for itself, really.
What is the what would you say in terms of social media and advertising? What's been the best, like if you picked one, what's the best way that you have attracted customers? Is it Instagram stories? Is it a giveaway post? Is it just word of mouth? What would you say is the best way you attracted customers?
Really a combination of them, because I think, customer can kind of have a different story about what led them to your brand. And I do have a great result with when I do giveaways, but also I found a huge difference just since I've started doing Instagram stories. At first, you would never have caught me doing an Instagram story or something like this on a podcast where people can see me and hear me. But a few months ago, I decided, like, I liked watching them from other brands that I follow and other small business owners. So I thought there has to be a reason they're doing this. And for me, it's not even about the sales, but it's just the connections you make. I try to share a mix of not just products and behind the scenes, but also a little bit of our family life, a little bit of, we love to cook, so a little bit of cooking, anything that kind of goes into this whole business, because it's not just a business at this point, it's my life. It's our whole lifestyle as a family. So I've gotten to know so many, not just customers or potential customers, but other small business owners through Instagram stories and sharing parts of our life. And it starts so many conversations. And that's the best part of it, is the people that you meet along the way.
Absolutely. All about the connections.
Yes.
All about the connections. All right. I got a funny question for you, because I am awful with like god awful, terrible at Instagram stories.
Okay.
Like I will
I'm
post
not great either. I just try.
I will post a picture, and then the text, I would put so much into text that I have to like shrink it.
Yeah.
And it's like this, and it's like, oh well, I'll put it up. But it looks terrible. So step by step, what is your perfect Instagram story?
Well, I usually record it 6 times just to get it right. So I'm not
Oh,
going to.
you do like a video?
Yes, I do a lot of videos where I will show behind the scenes of either creating an order or once it's done. Just recently, I kind of did a behind the scenes of putting our new pickup area together. I actually found a random table on the side of the road that was perfect for what I wanted. So I went back and got it, and I kind of showed behind the scenes of where we set it up, how we styled it. It was totally different than what we originally planned for that space, but I couldn't pass up the piece when I saw it on the side of the road. So I just try to show kind of behind the scenes of what's going on here. So it's a lot of talking. But I think it's nice because it shows people the face behind the company. It's around that time that I actually changed my logo on Instagram, or my profile picture, from my logo to a photo of me holding a piece. I think it's just nice for people to see what's behind the company and not just the product that you're selling.
I agree 100%. They want to see you. They want to know who they're buying from. And
they want to buy from a person, not from a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from Murray Home Decor, for you, what's next?
Well, so my big exciting thing is that we are actually launching our second business on April 1st.
Yeah.
So this whole time I've been doing pieces for people's homes, and this past fall I actually got a couple orders that were for weddings, and it reminded me of my childhood when I would go with my mom and my grandmother to deliver flowers to weddings, and I loved it. Every weekend when I was a kid, I wanted to go do that because sometimes you would see the bride in her makeup or even her dress on. The reception venue would be half set up, and I get to see how everything looks, and it made it fun for when I planned my own wedding. I always enjoyed the behind the scenes and little details that go into events like that. So when I started making these pieces for weddings, people I knew, I thought, I really wish I could name Mari Decor because I felt like it kind of pigeonholed me into only offering that. I want to start offering it and have people Google wedding rentals or wedding signs and see Mary Home Decor and think, well, that's not what I want, and just keep scrolling by. So for a little bit, but I also in the past year have developed a close relationship and following with these people that I didn't want to chance kind of changing that. So I just decided to do it as a sister business in a way. So it's going to be called Something Borrowed Event Decor. And I will be doing wedding and event rentals and keepsakes for people in the Rhode Island and Massachusetts area.
Wow. Can you describe something that like you would make? Like what's that
Yeah.
that you would make for a wedding?
Yeah, so we are putting together a few collections. We have acrylic signs, mirrored signs, and wooden signs. So anything wooden we are making ourselves, but we are outsourcing and finding all kinds of mirrors and windows, acrylic pieces, so that I can put together either welcome signs, seating charts, table numbers, all those kinds of things that people spend a lot of money for their wedding, and I did myself, and then are now sitting in their basement with no place to go, especially if they're personalized. So that's why I decided to do something like this, where you can come to either our house and pick up, or we will deliver and set up these rentals for you. They come with easels or stands. It'll be a welcome sign, or maybe it's a menu of the dinner that evening.
Wow.
The whole ceremony details of the order, your order of events for the day, whatever it is, they'll be completely personalized to you and your wedding. And then a couple days later, we'll get them back and use them for the next one. So it's nice that the reusable factor of it, especially in the world we live in, that we're not just piling up more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it also saves people some money on what's usually the most expensive day of their lives.
Don't you love weddings?
I do. I love
I miss them so much.
I can't wait to go back to a wedding.
I can't wait to just DJ a wedding again. Like
Yeah.
I miss it. Miss it. Oh
The
my
feeling,
God.
yeah, there's nothing like it.
It's so stressful.
I know,
but
but
then it's so worth it. It's so fun.
once you're there, I feel like the stresses kind of go away and you just get to
Yes.
live in the moment. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'll never forget our wedding, and I didn't even drink a glass of wine the night of my wedding because I didn't want it to go by too fast. So I remember every single second of that night, and I'm so glad because it was the best night ever.
That's better than drinking too much.
And then you don't feel good the next day.
Yeah, I've seen that. No way. Emily, this has been awesome. This has been very, very, very awesome. I have to say, I've learned a lot from you today. I have learned a lot. And the biggest thing is just taking that step and the way that you have taught yourself everything. And you keep learning
Yes,
how to do things.
I've learned more in the past year than I did in 5 years at my corporate job.
It's amazing.
I don't know if that's because I'm more passionate about it, or if it's just that fire under you that you're providing for your family now, in a way that not everything is kind of given to you. You have to go for it yourself. So
Absolutely. This has been awesome. I'm having a blast right now. Before we get into our little game, would you like to talk about anything else at all? Any final thoughts?
The only other thing I'd like to say is, if you are starting a small business, or if you already have, the connections that you make are invaluable. So just yesterday, I had someone on Instagram message me. She was another small business owner from Massachusetts, and she was asking for advice on shipping, trying to find the best the least expensive way to ship in the best way possible to protect her product. And she added, I really hesitated to even write this because I didn't know if you'd be willing to share information with me. A lot of small business owners kind of keep things as trade secrets and don't want to share their methods or the things that they've learned. And it made me really sad because I thankfully had Danielle to ask questions too in the beginning and along the way. Still, I think just last week I asked her a question. And just the community of people I've gotten to know in the past year doing this, the good people in life will be there to help you along the way and to help you grow. And I truly believe that it's more important to be about your community than your competition, and to make those connections with people and help them grow, because that's what this world is all about. There's no reason to hold somebody else back so that you can do better. So if you are a small business owner, I urge you to ask questions to anyone that you look up to or inspire to be like, because the lessons they teach you along the way are invaluable.
Very, very wise words. Thank you very much. It's again, it's motivating to listen to you and other owners come on, and a lot of it comes back to this. They took that step.
Yep.
They took that step. They said, I'm done with that. I'm done working for someone else. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for my family. So this has been awesome. This has been great. Emily, you ready to play a little game right now and end the show?
Maybe.
No, you got to say yes.
Yes,
you have to anyway. So this game is Name That. Let's roll the intro. It's time to play Name That. All right, so the name of the game is Name That. For a little description for the people who haven't listened before, Name That. It's literally a random game. Like yesterday, we played Name That Cake. We named that acre where I showed a picture of a land, and I had my friend Nicole Connell, whose episode will be released tomorrow. She had to name how many acres she thought the land was. So today I tried to find something. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna name that Decor.
Okay.
Now, again, I could totally be wrong, and this could not be any type of decor at all, but I searched decor on Google, and this is what came up.
Okay.
So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put up a picture of a decor, and you got to tell me what kind of decor that is.
I'll try.
All right. Now, like I told you off the air, the average grade on this game is 10%. So if you get just 2 answers right, you're probably good. All right. Or even one answer right. So, all right. First one. Let's do it. What is it?
With COVID, it looks like a sneeze guard, but I don't know what that is.
Sneeze guard is incorrect. That is called contemporary art.
Oh.
I get, yeah. It says it was a type of decor, so I don't know. Contemporary art. All right, 0 for 1 so far. All right, let's move on. Next one.
Architecture?
I'll give you partial credit.
Okay. What is it?
Partial credit. You get half. It is called eclecticism in architecture.
I never would have got the first word. I don't think I've ever heard it before in my life.
That's the first time I ever said it. Yeah, eclecticism in architecture.
Okay.
So you are half out of 2.
Okay, we'll take it.
Probably 10%.
Even if that's as far as I go, I'll take it.
Yeah. So you're already at the standard.
Okay.
So we'll continue going. All right, next one. Bam.
It looks like a stadium, but the style is more modern.
That is incorrect. It is called industrial architect.
Okay.
I don't know. We could have maybe done types of wood or something, but that's okay.
I would have done much better at that.
I know you would have. I thought about that midway through the show. I'm like, oh,
that's okay.
We could have. Maybe next time. Next time. Hopefully there is a next time. That'd be awesome.
Sure.
All right, next one.
Oh, that's pretty.
That is incorrect.
Well, is
I'm just kidding.
The style or what it actually is?
Either one. I don't know.
So it's interior design, but.
All right, no, it'd be the style.
Okay. Like mid-century modern?
That's correct.
Yay.
Wow. That was wow. All right. You're at a 1.5 out of 4. You're over.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you're over like 20% or something. So you're doing great. All right. Last one.
Okay.
I want to see if you can get this one. This is a tough one. Oh, not that one. That's your logo.
I know that one.
That's your logo. All right. What's this one?
Oh, that's pretty.
It is pretty. I like that.
It's got a mix of a few different things. I don't want to say it's modern farmhouse because it's not exactly.
I don't want to say that either because that is wrong. Incorrect.
It's got vibes of a few different things. What is it?
A Scandinavian design.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. So you ended your score today with a 1.5 out of 5, which is
better than I expected. So. Which is
it's over 20%. So I think it's like 30%. So you did very well today. Very well. Next time we'll do wood.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to have Derek as my little guest podcaster because he knows the wood even better than I do.
So that has been our game of Name That Decor. It's time to play Name That. Emily, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and
thank you.
Sharing a very inspiring story. Before you go, if you could name in maybe 5 words or 10 words, a piece of advice to give a business owner that's looking to take this step, what would you say? 10 words or less.
Trust yourself and work hard every day. I don't know how many words that were, but
I don't know, but that sounded great.
Trust yourself and work hard every day. 7 words for you.
You even left some room to spare. That is awesome. That is awesome. You can check out Emily. Where can we check you out?
So I am on Instagram under Murray Home Decor. I just started my other account at Something Barred Event Decor. So it's a little bit of half and half right now, depending on what I'm talking about. And then my website is murrayhomedecor.com.
Awesome. Thank you again, Emily, for coming on. I look forward to sharing this with everyone in the future. And you can check this video out. It'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. And down below, you can check it out on my page, Michael Rossi Jr., and our Facebook page, MJR Podcast Family, Instagram, and our YouTube says Studs Podcast, but it'll be changing to MJR and Friends. That's our sports podcast. That was like the OG podcast.
Oh, nice.
That we started during COVID. So COVID was a benefit in that regard, But we're gonna go. We're gonna premiere this episode on Facebook and YouTube and Spotify as well. But that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. So thank you again, Emily, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us. Emily, I got some stuff to talk to you about off the air. So don't leave just yet. But anyway, thank you, everyone, for listening, and you have yourself a great day. Thank you.